Hey, Megan Venanti here. Thanks for joining me on Rise and Shine, where we look at your soul's evolution. So, today's question, how do I face my fears? I know we've all got them, so let's take a look at that. The 4 questions I kind of want to go over today, though. What is the core of my deepest fear? How do I use this fear to hold myself back? What do I need to call upon within myself to transform this fear? And then finally, what is the best step I can take repeatedly to evolve past this? And because what we want to do is create awareness and create some skills so that we can navigate, and change who we are and evolve on our soul's journey. So hopefully this will help you guys for today. All right, so I picked 3 charms, you pick 1, and then this reading will apply for you today. Always feel free to revisit this at some other time. If you want to pick a different charm, it might connect for you differently. That's okay too. All right, so the 3 that we have an octopus, we have a stethoscope, and we have a running woman. So think about those 3 things and what they mean to you. The octopus, no bone structure, no skeletal structure whatsoever. It can fit through anything, but it lives in the depths of the water, and we eat them. And they're very, very intelligent creatures, and to me they're very magical creatures. The stethoscope, amazing ability, gives us the ability to listen to our heartbeat, to listen to the breath in our lungs. And so it's going to be heightened awareness and how to listen to someone else's needs or to our own needs. And then the runner, health, fitness, running to something, running from something, on a journey, on a process. So pick one of those 3. Those are some ideas of how they might connect for you, and then we'll dive in. Okay, so I'm going to read for the octopus first, and we'll take a look at these questions and see what we've got. Okay, octopi. Bam, all right. So, and hopefully you guys can also see these cards. I have tried to line them up so you can see them too, and I'll hold them up as I go. So, first off, it's interesting. When we look at the core of your deepest fear, we have Knight of Pentacles. And, to me, this is a really good, solid card, but it's not about lunging forward. It's about using, to me, it's the tortoise, the slow, steady, consistent pace. And, we don't have a lot of movement here. And so, maybe this is the idea of the fear is moving to the next level, to being a queen or a king. We can consider that maybe for you, you see yourself maybe more as an average Joe or as a middleman. And it's like, well, I want to be more, but maybe I'm really a little uncomfortable with being more. I'm good here. I'm safe. And this is about playing it safe. So I want you to think, when we look at what you're really afraid of, I think you've got a lot of strengths when we acknowledge the Knight of Pentacles. But there's also maybe a fear of, can you grow and be more? Can you move past the familiarity of what you knew in your family life? And I think this is part of what that call is like, okay, if I do a step up from what my parents had, then I'm all of a sudden in unfamiliar territory. How do I navigate that? So, and how are you using this fear to hold yourself back? That's really interesting. So we move into King of Swords, which means that, somehow in here you think you're not enough. And so you pretend to be more than you are. And you try to be this leader. But, a King of Swords isn't really touchy-feely. He can be a little cold. He can be a little bossy and a little distant. And so, if you're worried that you're not enough and that you're not ready to rise to the next level, there is a sense of like, well, fake it till you make it. but you need to acknowledge that this fake it till you make it is also guarding you. And so in some ways, you're not letting your true self shine through in what you're doing because you're pretending to be the boss, even if you don't really feel like it in your heart. And a lot of times our biggest growth comes when we acknowledge what we don't know and where we are weak and where we are vulnerable. And so I want you to acknowledge that, okay, I want to be someone who is a leader, but I don't really feel like I'm there. And that's okay. So that's going to be part of that. Now, what do you need to call upon yourself to transform this fear? And it's interesting. We have the Lovers in reverse. So one of the things I want you to look at is you're going to need to do this alone. And it's not necessarily about someone else. If you were thinking that the promotion will acknowledge that you're suddenly a level up, if you were thinking that your partner will acknowledge you more clearly if you're taking this leadership role, this is saying this isn't that space. This is acknowledging you don't need validation from someone else. And you need to set them free, because in some ways you might be over controlling of them if this is a relationship, if this is you in your work environment, and perhaps both, because we need to consider it that way. You're not able to fly yet. And that's okay. We have to, before a baby bird can fly, it has to fully develop. And so you're in a developmental stage. And, if you force this, then you're going to fall out of the nest and hit the ground, and it's going to hurt. And perhaps something will eat you. So I want you to think about that. And we think about the octopus with this too, and that idea of being completely flexible and squeezing through a tube and being able to move through the ocean. And I'm sure you've seen the Facebook or the Instagram image of the octopus that the man rescued from the beach, and he put him back in the water, and the octopus came back and put his little tentacle out to say thank you. And then he went on. It was the most deliberate, beautiful thing ever. So, allow this flexibility within yourself. Because that King of Swords is like telling you, saying, hey, you're being rigid about this. And so you need to be open. All right. Now, what's the step that you can repeatedly take here to help evolve past this? And interesting. So we got Page of Wands in reverse, and he's got a big looking glass here, which is kind of cool. And we think about pages, they are students of life. And they do herald new beginnings within ourselves. What can we adapt to? How can we change? And to me, it's not about looking out, then this is about looking within and at how you communicate or express yourself, and becoming more aware of what you're saying. So perhaps, when we go back to King of Swords, you're coming across judgmental or really definitive, like, oh no, it needs to be this way. And the thing to look at it is like, okay, do I need it to be this way? Or am I saying that because that's my comfort zone? So that's going to help you begin to kind of look at this fear and rein that in. And so every time that you see yourself begin to fall into this pattern, just say, okay, introspection. Be a child, own this moment that, okay, this feels sucky, so I am reacting because I am afraid. And what's another way that I can create a response here? And do I need to say anything, or do I just need to take it in for a moment and then respond later when I can collect my thoughts? So not being impulsive about it. That's a key element with this. Okay, so I hope that kind of helps my octopi people. Let us take a look at the stethoscope, and we'll see what we have for you guys. Okay. right, so stethoscope people. Listening. It is also a flexible tool, but it does have to be in your ears for it to work. We don't hear anything if we don't put the effort into plugging that in. Okay. Oh, interesting. You got a lot of you've got 2 kings and a queen. Okay, so the core of your deepest fear, you're very much tied into success here. And this can be, you know, success in wealth, financial, having things, material wealth. We've got King of Pentacles. And so when we think about that, that leaves us in the material world. Pentacles are our only set of cards that connect with materialism and or the world we live in. And so for you, you know, one of your fears is this idea of status or not being enough, and how do you measure that success? And so, you know, one of the things I have to look at that is you're comparing yourself to other people here. And so we have to think about that, like, if you're measuring yourself against someone else, you will never make it. So you have to measure yourself against you and your own personal goals of like, okay, by this age, what should I achieve? And you know, it's interesting, when we're young, we really think that we should achieve so much by the time we're 28 or by the time we're 24. And the older you get, the more you realize so many of our achievements come way later in life, way later. So, you know, that can be tough because we measure that success. And, you know, one of the things you'll find at your 10-year reunion, if you went to that or haven't gone yet, is that when you get there, you realize, oh, nobody's really made it yet. Like maybe 1 or 2 people are like really doing well, but the rest of us are just kind of scrapping along as waiters or wherever, you know, doing whatever. And beginning phases, you know, you're in your first or second career at that point. So give yourself a break on that. Okay, now, how do you use this fear to hold you back? And this King of Cups, unrealistic emotional expectations for yourself. There's pressures. It's like you get yourself overwhelmed that you should be so much more, that you haven't worked hard enough. You haven't tried hard enough. Maybe there's a sense that you needed to dig deeper. And so emotionally, you're beating yourself up. And you're not even using your whole head about this. Look, his head is missing. So I want you to think about that. It's like you're getting yourself into an emotional tailspin and diving down really deep. And so that is definitely not helpful for you. Now, what do you need to call upon yourself to help transform this fear? And 4 of Wands, we've got this in reverse, which is great. This is one of the cards I love to have reversed. And, you know, basically, you've got everything you need within you to change this right now. And part of this is calling on tapping into the spiritual center of yourself, because when we're looking at not enough, we're talking to our egos. And our egos are always trying to measure up by other people, who we are, what we do, what our title is, what our status is. You know, one of the things I love about my husband's business is they don't do titles. Which drives some people crazy, because a lot of us want those titles to say, oh, I am this, I am that, I've accomplished this. But really, those things, they can also hold you back, because a lot of times we have a title, but we're doing a gazillion other things besides that title. And so, you know, think about that. Look at your soul. Your soul does not need a title. Your soul is perfect and beautiful and knows who it is. And the more we acknowledge that soul within us, the less we're looking outside of us. And so for you, there's definitely a calling to connect with your soul center. And you're like, well, how do I do that? I can't call it on the phone. No, you sit with it. You sit alone and you just take a deep breath and say, okay, What's inside of me? Where's the space of joy within myself? And so start working on it from that direction, because you already have everything you need to be 100% complete and 100% aware of yourself. And I know you're coming from a space that also maybe had a sense of incompletion. And, you know, when I look at that too, even if your family wasn't perfect, you can do better. You know, we automatically go to what we know. And so what I'm asking you to do is, this is time for you to find a book that can help you better you. My favorite thing to do for that is go to the bookstore and find a book that connects for you. Whether you're looking into self-help, you're looking into psychology, you're looking into spirituality. And I want you to acknowledge that we're all broken and we can step up, but we have to learn some skills to help us to do that. And a book is a great way to do it that's non-confrontational. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to go to therapy. Those things can help, yes. Life coaches, all of that can help you. But start with simple resources and then grow from there. Okay, now, what's the best step you can take repeatedly to help yourself evolve past this? And Queen of Cups, love this. Owning your emotions, being sensitive to yourself. And it's interesting. So she's in a bathing suit here. This allows for vulnerability. You know, it's being somewhat exposed. And it's knowing that your emotions, oh, and she even has octopus hair here. You know, and we think about the stethoscope too, going back to that. This is listening in to yourself. So this is owning your emotions. And, you know, she's holding a seahorse too, which is also an interesting thing. Did you know the male seahorse carries the babies? He's the one who gets pregnant. And so when we consider this, you know, she is nurturing him. We have both masculine and feminine within us. And so owning this, nurturing yourself, emotionally acknowledging what you need and that you are complete and whole, and quite honestly, a badass ruler all on your own. So, and I know you're worried about moving up that next level from queen to king, but know that you're enough as a queen. You're already a leader in so many of your own ways. And you know, she's ruling the ocean here from the bottom, from the depths of that. So you've already got good strength. Bring yourself back to that whenever you start getting yourself in that insecure moment and you start having that talk of like, I'm not enough, I'm not enough. And then we can come back into this. All right, so I hope that helps the stethoscope people listening to the repetitions there of what you've got going on and where you want to go forward with that. Okay, now let us take a look at our runner. And I know I say lettuce like it really is lettuce, like it's the vegetable you eat. It's just, I don't know if you guys hear it that way. That's what it sounds like to me when I say it, but oh well. Okay, so our runners. Running from can be about fear, but running towards, you know, setting goals, achieving those goals quickly. Let's see what we've got for you guys. Okay, so lots of fours today. Okay, oh, interesting. You've got 2 1s, a 3, and a 4. So you're kind of, it's acknowledging this new phase and what you're transitioning into with this. So for you, there's like a whole new something or other that you're opening up, which we love. Okay, so, and that's interesting. So the deepest core of your fear really is this idea of, it can be about money. It can be about debt. Like, what do I need for myself? Can I make enough? Am I always going to be in debt? Am I going to be swallowed up by this for the rest of my life? Am I ever going to get this paid off? And I want so much. How do I manage this? And we know debt sucks. Feeling like you're broke sucks. I've been there. I lived in debt for years, and it took multiple training sessions with other people and financial, consumer credit counseling services, to help me begin to learn to manage money, and good friends that were good at it. It wasn't like it was just one and done. It's a repeated process that you have to learn and commit to within yourself. So, for you, there's definitely that sense of like, I need freedom. I need to not be locked down or feel chained my whole life. It's like I'm always trapped. And so how do you move past that? And when we feel trapped too, that's not just about debt. That can be other things in our life. But the idea is perhaps not being enough. And we generally connect Four of Pentacles with as the miserly card, as money or things. But it doesn't have to be. It can certainly be on a deeper level of that. And that's really what we're trying to tap into today. What is the deepest fear? Am I enough? And the outward projection would be the financial aspect. Now, how do you hold yourself back with this? And it's interesting. So we have Ace of Swords, and he's in reverse. And one of the things that's interesting here is he holds the key. Now, keys symbolically are the keys of knowledge. And he's dressed not in clothing, but in the universe. And then he also has the snail for a head shape, the shell. So, you need to open up yourself, I think, in many ways, to the abundance of the universe. And yeah, you're like, well, that's corny. And, yeah, everybody says that, but how do you do that? What is this manifestation stuff? And is it a load of junk? No, it is definitely not a load of junk. But we have to be very real on what we want to manifest. So I knew from a very small person that my goal in life was to fall in love with the man of my dreams and to raise a family and to have my own home. And nothing about career. That was not a goal for me. And therefore, every step that I took was working me towards that. Oh, and the other important goal for myself was to grow up to somehow be beautiful, because I thought of myself as very, very ugly and unattractive, which, when you're 11 or 12, a lot of kids are. That's part of the growth stage. But to be attractive and to be happy, to be normal. I wanted to grow up to be normal. How many people think about that? That for me was a big, big goal, because I knew everything in me was not normal. And everything I was experiencing, I realized from others, was not a normal life as they experienced life. That what I was doing was different. So when we look at this, what is your goal to manifest? And you're holding yourself back by perhaps not asking for the right things, by thinking you don't deserve them, or you can't have them, or you don't know how to have them. All it takes is a little bit of education. I mean, manifesting, you can read a whole book on it, but now you can get the 5-minute synopsis, on the internet or in Cosmo magazine. Everybody has the quick fix. Now, I will say the more in depth you go with these things, the more you study the steps, the easier it is to bring these things to fruition in your life. So, be open to how you want to explore and interpret what you want to bring out of the universe for yourself. Open these doors. You don't need to be afraid of that. I think, there's a sense of like, I don't know where to begin with this. I didn't grow up with this kind of thinking. And that's okay, because we can change our thoughts every second of every day. So now, what do you need to call upon yourself? Oh, I love this for you. This is so great. So we have the sun, joy, happiness. For you to get over your fear, you just have to look at the little things in your life. What does bring you joy? So, I mean, you know what? I can tell you honestly that when I used to have a bowl of like Quaker oats, those squares, oh, I used to love those. It made me so happy. So that was one of the things I did, you know, or, you know, fresh ramen noodles out of the stove. You know, I would just love those things. So you don't have to have a lot of money to find joy. You need to be able to appreciate little things in your life. If it's making a really pretty dinner, if it's watching your favorite show, if it's planting a flower and watching it grow and produce something, you know, and never be afraid to plant an herb. Herbs are weeds somewhere, so they're going to do great, you know, as long as, well, know your climate and what grows where and that kind of thing. But people can help you with that. To me, the sun is truly finding little things that just make my heart sing. And it's about pushing some boundaries and some limits here too. So, you know, I want you to start, when I look at this, maybe keeping a little bit of a gratitude journal might be helpful for you in trying to navigate this. Because that's going to show you things that you appreciate each and every day. And it doesn't have to be a lot, just, you know, one sentence a day, get it down. You'll be amazed at what that builds up into within yourself. And then when you're feeling blue, it's like, okay, I can go back and look at this. What am I grateful for? Because I don't feel anything positive right now. All right. Now, what is the step that you repeatedly need to take to move past this in your life? And that's interesting. We have 3 of Swords. So this is a definite, intense call to action. And if we look at this image, there's 3 arrows into his rose heart center. And when we think about the runner, so how do you move towards this? We also, this man is stable. He's standing still. So you need to kind of actually dive into the heart of your pain every time something happens that triggers the pain. I'm looking at this and you're like, nope, don't want to deal with this. This hurts. And so you've been pushing everything away. And for you to find true joy, true happiness, that sun energy in your life, you're going to have to start going right into the center of that pain and go, this sucks. This hurts. I'm not going to run away from this. I'm going to run towards it. And as I navigate this, as I feel this, this pain will dissipate. And because right now it's been building up, you keep ignoring it, so it gets stuffed in and then stuffed on and stuffed on and stuffed on, and it's been building up and building up. And so you look at something, you see a sad image in a movie and you're in grief, deep, heavy tears come out, or somebody says one little thing and it's like poking a really full water balloon, and all of a sudden you just, you know, all the emotions come out. So you got to start dealing with this pain. And initially it can feel heavy and big and magnified and out of proportion because it's been building up for so long. That will become less and less and less. And then when something pushes your button, it's like, oh yeah, I know this. This is pain and I can move past this. I just need to go through it now. So I hope that makes some sense to you. If this is something you're struggling with, it's definitely, you know, this is old therapy stuff. This is definitely something you can work through with therapy, but there's a gazillion good books that can also help you work through this. There are people that you can talk to. There are psychics you can talk to. There are free resources if you're depressed and need someone to talk to. So think about that as you kind of move through this, because I do feel like this has a lot of intensity for you, but I also know this is going to improve over time. You just have to keep walking through the fire, basically. Or in your case, maybe running through the fire, running towards it and dealing with that pain. Okay, well, that was kind of intense. So I hope this helped you guys out. Again, always let me know if you have comments, feedback, anything that might be useful, helpful for me or for someone else, because, hey, I'm open to your questions and ideas. So take care, and we'll see you guys again next week. Bye for now.